You know, when you hit 80, the silence in a house stops being quiet. It gets heavy. It sits right there in the armchair next to you and starts whispering about all the things you didn't say when you had the chance. I look in the mirror, and I don't just see an old man with a silver beard. I see a roadmap. Every wrinkle on this face is a highway I traveled over the last 50 years. My hands are clean now, my shirt's pressed, but inside, I can still feel that old diesel vibration humming in my bones. It's the rhythm of my heart. My name is Sam, and I've clocked over 2 million miles across this great country. I spent my whole life thinking I was a protector, a provider, a real pillar for my family. But today, sitting in this big, beautiful, paid-off house, I realize I was just a damn good liar. I lied to myself. Listen close, because the price of what I know now is a whole life spent looking in the rearview mirror. This ain't just a story. It's the truth about how you can lose everything while you're busy trying to earn it all. Take a look at that road out there. See the way it stretches out toward that golden sunset? For most folks, that's just a way to get from A to B. For me, it was a religion. Inside the cab of an 18-wheeler, I felt like a king. Behind that windshield, the world was simple. You got a route, you got a schedule, and you got 600 horses under your right foot. I used to look at that faded photo taped to the dash. My wife, Mary, and our little boy. And I'd tell myself every mile I put down was bringing them closer to happiness. But the road? She's a jealous mistress, I tell you. She hooks your eyes to the asphalt, and you stop noticing how fast time is moving everywhere else. I thought I was driving toward success, but I was really just running away from the hard work of being a husband and a father in real time. I turned my life into a trucker life, where everything is measured in gallons and states, not hugs and I love yous. September of 1970. I remember it like it was this morning. The smell of that new leather in my first Kenworth was better than any perfume. It smelled like winning. It smelled like freedom. I was in my early 20s, blood pumping hot, believing the whole world was mine for the taking. Back then, being a long-haul trucker meant something. We were the knights of the highway. When I fired up that engine for the first time, I felt the whole rig come alive under me. Mary was standing on the porch of our little rental house, holding our year-old son. She was smiling, waving goodbye. But if I'd been looking closer, I would have seen that shadow in her eyes even then. I gave him a blast of the air horn, loud, proud, confident, and I mashed the gas. I thought I was heading out to conquer the world for them, but I was really just signing a 50-year contract with loneliness. We were all fed the same line back then. A man's job is to provide. The American dream was our North Star, but nobody told us that star was cold and dead. We were told to work harder, take the heavy loads, stay out longer, and then you'd be happy. And I believed every word. I swallowed miles like a man possessed. I hauled steel to Detroit, produced to Chicago, electronics to LA. I was everywhere except my own damn living room. Every paycheck I mailed home felt like an airtight alibi. Look, Mary, I bought us a new fridge. Or, look, Sam's got the best shoes in school. I thought I was building a foundation, but I was building it out of paper. The dream was a trap with golden bars, and I walked right in, thinking I was building a castle when I was really just building a cell I couldn't escape without losing my shirt. The night shift on the interstate. That's a different world. When the sun goes down and the world shrinks to the glow of your dash lights and the beams of your headlamps, time starts to bend. There's something hypnotic about it. You and the machine become one thing. I loved those hours. In the dark of that cab, I could be whoever I wanted. I convinced myself my work was a sacrifice, a heroic act. While everyone else was tucked into their warm beds, I was the sentry on the highway. I'd drink bitter, burning coffee at truck stops, swap stories with other drifters, and feel like I was part of a brotherhood. We all believed the lie, that we were doing it for them. But the truth was, it was easier out there. The road is predictable. It only asks for your attention and your skill. But home? Home asks for your soul. And I had less and less of that to give with every passing mile. My life lessons were hard-learned. I could survive a blizzard in the Rockies, but I forgot how to live in peace. I'll never forget that phone call from a booth somewhere in Ohio. Pissin' rain, wind rocking the cab, and me standing there with that cold receiver pressed to my ear. Mary was crying, but she was happy. She said, "Sam, he did it. Little Sam took his first steps today. He walked right across the room and grabbed onto your empty chair." I felt something snap in my chest. I should have been there. I should have been the one to catch him when he wobbled. But I was 1,000 miles away, staring at wet asphalt. I swallowed the lump in my throat and said, "That's great, Mary. I'll send extra money tomorrow. Buy him the best playpen money can buy." I tried to pay my way out of the guilt again. I thought toys could replace memories. It was my first real lesson that time is the only thing you can't earn back, but I just mashed the pedal harder. Communication turned into a business report. "How's the rig? Did the check clear? Be safe out there." We became pros at talking without saying a damn thing. I was scared to stay home too long because I saw the resentment in Mary's eyes and the confusion in my boys. I became a function, a bank account that occasionally walked through the door smelling of diesel and old tobacco. I was proud of our house, the best in the neighborhood. I was proud Sam went to a good school, but I didn't see the price they were paying. I was a ghost. My son stopped asking, "When's Daddy coming home?" Daddy was just a guy who showed up at Christmas, handed out expensive gadgets, and disappeared back into the horizon. Regret is a slow-acting poison, and I drank it by the gallon for decades. On the road, I was a legend. My handle, the Lone Wolf, was known by every dispatcher from Maine to Florida. I had a reputation for getting the job done, no matter the weather. Other drivers respected me. The waitresses knew how I liked my eggs. I soaked up that validation because it felt like a real life. But the second I parked that truck in the driveway, the magic died. I didn't know where the silverware went. I didn't know the names of Sam's teachers. I didn't know what Mary dreamt about when she looked at the sunset. I was an expert in logistics on 5 different interstates, but I was a total amateur when it came to the soul of my own family. My wisdom was lopsided. I knew everything about tire pressure, but I knew nothing about healing a broken heart. Truck stop loneliness at 3 a.m. in Wyoming. It's a heavy thing. You feel like you're part of something big, but you're completely alone. You look at the taillights of the rigs pulling out, and you realize every one of them is a life in transit. My life was in that trailer. I'd talk to the road like she was alive, asking for forgiveness, but I'd always go back to her. She was the only one who didn't ask questions or expect me to be someone I wasn't. She didn't need me to be dad or husband. She just needed me to drive. 1985. Sam was 14. He had a big baseball game, the finals. I swore to Mary I'd be there. I even headed back early, but a hot load with a triple pay bonus popped up. "It's for his college fund," I told myself. I lied to my own heart. I was 3 hours late. The field was empty when I pulled up. I saw Sam sitting on the bench alone, still in his uniform. I climbed out of that cab, sweaty and dusty, trying to apologize. He looked up, and his eyes were cold as ice. He just said, "It's okay, Sam. I didn't expect you anyway." Not Dad. Sam. In that moment, I lost the right to that name. But I fired up the engine, and I left. It was easier to be on the move than to look at what I'd become. My rig became my armor. I spent a fortune on it. Custom leather, walnut trim, a sound system that cost more than a car. I polished that chrome until I could see every pore in my face. But the irony is, I didn't see the real me. I saw the mask of a successful driver. Inside that cab, I had control. But the more expensive my truck got, the poorer my home felt. Mary stopped asking me to fix things or go to the store. She did it all herself. I thought I was proud of her strength. I didn't realize it was the armor of a woman who'd accepted she didn't have a husband. She built a world where I wasn't needed anymore. I ask myself all the time, why didn't I stop? We had the money, the mortgage was done. But I was addicted to the speed and the hustle. I believed success was a destination I'd hit eventually, and then I'd start living. I was a hamster on a wheel thinking I was running to the forest. I was terrified of losing my status as the provider, because without it, I didn't know who I was. The road gave me an identity I couldn't find at home. My escape was disguised as sacrifice. 2 million miles. Think about that. And for every one of those miles, I paid with my body. My joints creak like a rusted suspension. My back won't let me sleep, and my heart skips like an old diesel in the cold. The road sucks the life out of you. You breathe fumes, eat junk, and sleep in snatches. No, the physical wreck is nothing compared to the mental void. I saw death on those shoulders, but I didn't know the biggest casualty would be my own life. I was so worried about being on time that time itself just slipped through my fingers. My logbooks are perfect, but my book of life is full of blank pages where the family memories should be. 75 years old, I took my last load. I clicked that ignition off for the last time and just sat there. No more hum, just silence. I realized I had nowhere to rush to, no schedule. But home didn't want me. Mary was used to being alone. Her life was full of things I wasn't part of. I was a stranger in a house I'd paid for over 30 years. I was like an old statue they brought back from a museum and put in the living room. Respected, but in the way. Today, I sit in this mansion. The garden is perfect, but the house is a monument to my failures. Every room reminds me of what wasn't there. The laughter, the dinners, the warmth. Mary's been gone 3 years now. She was a saint until the end, but her heart had closed up to me long ago. She loved the hero trucker I pretended to be, but she never knew the man behind the mask. We lived 50 years like two trains on parallel tracks, seeing each other through the window, but never in the same car. I'm alone now, and the silence is so loud I sometimes want to fire up a rig just to drown out my own thoughts. My phone is a paperweight. My son calls on Sundays. 5 minutes of small talk. "Hey, Sam, how's your health? You need anything?" "Okay, take care." No hate, just no connection. He grew up without me, and he learned to thrive without me. He's a great father to his kids, and I know why, because he decided to be the exact opposite of me. He's home for dinner every night. He built his life on my ruins. I don't know my grandkids. I traded their love for asphalt, and now I'm collecting my dividends. Polite loneliness. People tell me, "Sam, You're a legend. But what's a legend worth when you've got nobody to complain to about the cold? A legend is a story for other people. Reality is an empty room. I'd trade every award, every cent, every sunset in Nevada for one night 30 years ago just to sit on the floor and build Legos with my boy. I built the American dream for the whole country, but I left my own soul in the ditch. Success without connection is just a very expensive way to be poor. Don't let the chrome blind you. Real treasure doesn't have a weight and you can't haul it in a trailer. My wisdom is bitter. Don't confuse being a provider with being a father. Your kids won't remember the truck you drove. They'll remember you weren't there. Your wife won't remember the price of the ring. She'll remember the nights she cried herself to sleep alone. We're all truckers in this life, racing toward a goal, forgetting who's in the cab with us. If you look in the rear view and all you see is empty space, you missed your turn. Legacy is the warmth in your kids' eyes when you walk through the door. This is my final warning. Slow down. Park the rig, go home. Right now, not tomorrow. Hug your family. The most important haul of your life is the one that leads to the dinner table. The biggest lie is that you've got time. You don't. You only have right now. Go home while the lights are still on and someone's still waiting for you. My engine's about to quit, and I want you to know 2 million miles ain't worth a single second of real love. Be safe out there and get home on time. Over and out.